This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. And every Saturday morning at 8:30, right here on 107.9 CDY, we talk about fun things going on in the community. Katie Huckle is my co-host, and we have put the Footlighters in the spotlight many, many times. And every time they have a new show, they come in and talk with us about what they're doing. And now we're doing Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
This is no small undertaking. Is it, Julie?
No, it's a big one.
We've got Julie Van Heitzma with us, director, right?
Yes.
And cast members Tyler Drosky, Evan Johnson, and Sophie Weibel. So
Riam Weibel.
Yes.
It's a hyphen there, buddy.
Okay.
Yes.
I got a big smile.
Thank you for that.
So you're going to share a personal story about this production, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little later.
Yeah,
I am not familiar. I am not familiar at all with this.
Oh, this is one. I mean, Rich, I know we try to get to things, and you've got all those kids, so it's hard for him to get to everything. But this is one, especially people of faith. It's an Old Testament. It's a musical based on a story out of the Old Testament. And just an incredible message. And so I want to talk to Julie first about, I know you're probably on the selection committee, aren't you?
I chair the play selection committee. Yeah.
Chair, okay.
Yep.
Can you tell me how you got here? Because this is big.
It is. It's really big. And actually, we had a different show that we had selected in this slot, but once we got the contract for that show and I was reading the fine print, there were some things that just wasn't going to work for Footlighters to do in terms of age limits and stuff. So we had to sort of on the fly fill it in with another one. And this is a show that I have wanted to do for years and years, but I directed in high schools for years, and as many of you know, high schools historically do not have a ton of males audition for shows. And so because there's 12 brothers, it limits it a little bit. So I just felt like Footlighters was uniquely in a place right now that we could handle a show that needed that kind of male participation. And I've loved this for years and years. I saw Donny Osmond perform as Joseph in the 80s.
No way.
I did.
Oh, yeah. Tyler just looked at you and did not know that.
So that was what I was going to talk to Rich about. I was going to see if he knew. So it was 1992. I was broke as a joke, working in downtown Minneapolis in radio, Cool 108 radio, and one of the perks.
You worked in radio and were broke?
How does that happen?
Crazy. And true story. So one of the perks of working for a station that large was there's going to be some free tickets, flying around the station, especially, in major market radio like that. And I was always an Osmond fan, I remember starring in college in that song, I'm a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll with Donnie Marie. When I found out that Donny Osmond was going to be Joseph, and then the free tickets came, I was mesmerized. And so best song of the show, because you have to go, is Go, 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 Joseph, the whole crowd's going to be rocking. You watch.
Okay.
I thought we were at the same, because I went in Minneapolis.
So there you go.
Yeah.
You guys might have been in the same
We might have been in the same. I was in the very back
33
row.
years ago.
Well, for once, I was not in the very back row. But anyway, let's go around and talk about everybody's roles in the show.
Yeah, so my role is I'm one of the other 11 Cooler brothers, not Joseph, but Levi. Yeah, we do have to say it that way. You'll get it. You'll get it when you come see the show.
Joseph is not an official brother.
Yeah, just for a while he's not. So it's a lot of fun. We get to goof around. I think that fits, as a fourth grade teacher, that fits my personality the best, is just goofing around and having fun with it.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm one of the 11 Cool brothers. So.
We actually have coined the term bromoeba.
Okay.
Because we move as a unit, so we work as the bromoeba.
I told them to make an amoeba on stage, and they just sort of...
No, we said, no, it's a bromoeba. and it merged, and like our minds are linked. I don't know what is going on. But
There's a lot of telepathy.
Do any of your students know that you're in this production?
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yep. I told them I was auditioning and everything. I had a few in Footliters junior shows in the past. So
he's probably been singing the colors on the playground because there's this huge long list of colors.
I think it's 37 of them.
37 colors. And Tyler has had them down. I mean, he has known them. So my theory is he's been, singing to the kids all day long.
Did you have any past experience with this production specifically? And how much experience do you have in theater, Tyler?
Yeah, great question. So my first ever musical experience was with Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. When I was in Sparta, Michigan, they put it on as a community theater, and I play the trumpet, so they do a live pit, and I played my trumpet in the pit. And I just remember sitting there and looking up and seeing the brothers have so much fun. And then this was my grandmother's favorite musical too. So when it's here in Cadillac, I'm like, I was jealous about the brothers getting it. So when I was watching them from the stage as a freshman in high school, and I was like, yeah, this is something I want to audition with. As far as musical experience past, I probably played in 7 or 8 different pits. I was just in the pit for Hello Dolly last year. And then in high school, I did some fun stuff with our high school. So my favorite role was Alice in Wonderland. And then I was Tweedledum in that. And then my other role was Peter Pan, and I played Shmi, and 2 really good roles. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is my first Footlighter show, so it's been such a blast. So.
Wonderful. That's awesome.
Side note, I was in Hello Dolly. I did not realize that you were in the pit.
Yep.
Frankly, I was not focusing on the pit at all, and I'm so sorry.
We were focusing on you and trying to play that music, which was so tough to play, but it was fun.
You guys did great when it really came down to it. Like the actual shows, it sounded amazing to have a live pit, and you and all of those people.
Agree. You guys knocked it out of the park.
So Evan, how about your role? Swing that around right in front of you, that microphone. There you go.
Well, I am playing Joseph in this show, which is a little nerve-wracking considering this is my only official lead role that I've ever done with the Footlighters.
But you have a lot of experience with younger groups.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This would be the 5th we figured out, right? 5th show that I've done with the Footlighters, and all of those have been little side roles. I've been a background character / stagehand. That was really fun, and yeah, it's really just, this is probably the most daunting experience I've ever had, which is a little embarrassing to admit, but I haven't been out on the streets or anything. This is
So I'm going to go back to Julie. I'm sure you had a huge hand in casting. What did you see in Evan that made you say, this is my lead?
We've honestly, so I've had the privilege of watching Evan grow in theater a little bit. I saw him perform in Puffs with the teens in a team production. And then I was witness to when they did a teen karaoke a couple summers ago. Evan sang Waving Through a Window from Dear Evan Hansen.
Which, can I add, was not supposed to be my song. I was taking over for someone else.
And I don't know that Evan knew he could sing.
Wow.
And it was almost like watching him discover it as he was singing, overcoming all his fears and anxieties and just letting it all go out there and sing it. And it was like his mother was crying. And it was really, and so I've had the privilege of seeing him sort of develop. And in Hello Dolly, he was Ambrose Kepler, whatever his name is.
Whatever, yeah.
Which is not a huge role, but he had some little solo pieces. But one thing that we noticed during Hello Dolly was Evan knew everyone else's songs too. So if an actor was missing at a rehearsal, I remember you were singing Joe Bauman's Cornelius Hackle during one rehearsal, and I was like, holy cow, he just pulled that out of nowhere.
That is a curse that I have to bear, is remembering the entire show, not just my own line.
So you knew that memorization was not going to be an issue.
I knew that was not an issue. And also there was something about, I think Sophie can tell me, or Tyler can tell me if they noticed this too, but when Evan sang for the role at auditions, I think all of us just kind of sat there and went, there it is.
Yeah.
Really?
There were so baby eyes in the even amongst people competing for the role. Everybody just kind of looked back and was like, yeah, there's Joseph. That's it.
Yeah. It was just something that he tapped into. I think there's a vulnerability to the character of Joseph, and you have to see that progression from at the beginning when he's a little cocky, but he's very young, and he knows that God has this long plan for him, but the realization of that throughout the show is a really big component of the show, and I feel like there's something in Evan that sort of reflects that very naturally.
I thought you just cast me for the long hair.
Yeah.
My kids are flowing locks. Too.
Yeah. It's been wonderful, and Jill Hahn, who's also a director, and I've had the privilege of working a little bit one-on-one with Evan, and Sally Geigen has also spent a significant amount of time with Evan, and watching him develop that confidence so that by the end he can play this Pharaoh official who's like standing over his brothers and being, in control and in charge and fully realizes his role in God's plan for him has been really fun to watch.
We were having a conversation just before we got on the air, and Evan was talking about how nervous he was because he's never been on a radio show before. And I was like, "You got this.
Yeah.
There's no pictures,
I told you we were going to have to sing a song on the show. I'm kidding. No. Let's talk to Sophie for a minute about what you're up to.
Yeah, so I am actually part of a really cool subset of the brothers.
Okay.
We have coined ourselves the Lady Brothers.
Okay.
So of the 11, 4 of us are actually female in the role. Cool. So we've gotten to do a little gender bending, which is really fun.
Sure.
It's cool to take on a character that's new to me. I'll be playing the youngest brother, Benjamin.
Okay.
Benjamin actually becomes kind of pivotal in the story towards the end there. Okay. And, it's just been really fun to build that character from the ground up, really, but also get to take on a part of acting that I haven't before, which is getting to act in the male role. So that's really fun for me.
Changes in body language?
Absolutely.
Sure. Rich is an only child.
I am.
And the reason he is. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I think that this show demonstrates how powerful birth order can be, and
I see that in my 4 kids.
Right,
I definitely see that now.
And that when there is an identifiable favorite, how that can roll out.
It's funny you bring that up because I'm actually Joseph's only full brother.
Right, we're brothers.
So we have a little bit of extra competition going, and you'll see that play out in the show.
Benjamin is the one I specifically bully.
It's okay though because I bully Evan back.
So. Yeah, no, I was going to say the 11 of us easily bully him back.
So are each of those 11 brothers, is there a role for 11 people in this? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you have a number in mind? Were you hoping you'd have 11 males for this?
I knew that would be very unlikely.
Okay. Not that Sophie can't pull it off. I'm sure she
the
can.
Beard helps.
You're wearing a beard.
Yeah. She was super excited about the beard. Yeah, Sophie, I made her day when I handed her little clue on beard.
Pictures are it never happened. Anyway.
Come see the show and you can see it yourself.
Gotcha.
We did know we had enough people in Footlighters that we could cast the show. How many of them were going to be male brothers and how many were going to be women presenting as male for the show, we weren't entirely sure. We actually had one more female cast and then some conflicts happened and she wasn't able to continue, so we took Jay Simon, who we all know can do multi-dimensional
anything.
We moved him to double and play a brother and the other role he has, which is probably the funnest role in the show, which is Pharaoh.
Oh, wow.
Well, Jay can chew up scenery pretty well.
Yeah, and so the Pharaoh in Joseph is an Elvis Pharaoh.
Oh.
Pretty feral Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Pharaoh.
You can see it in the anecdotes
and,
of the Bible.
And I have to say, Jay showed up at auditions with the hip thrusts in tow. And I would have taken him today, but he avoids being on the radio repeatedly because he is so often, I think. But
sure.
Yeah, you should come just to see Jay.
Well, we were laughing, Julie, because before you arrived, Tyler was saying, I'm working on my abs. Well, because let's talk about costuming.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Who's running costumes?
So Sally Geigen is running costumes. She had wanted to be involved from the beginning.
Sure.
She had asked for me to help, and I was like, of course, because nobody's going to turn Sally down.
Can't say no.
But I asked her if she would be willing to be the costume director for the show, because Sally and my brains kind of connect really well. And I think most people in Footlighters who have been around me long enough know that I have specific visions for how I want a show to appear. Like Matilda, I have like a color palette. I see it in colors. And so I knew that Sally and I could sort of meld minds a little bit on that. And it's been so amazing because I could just kind of give it to her and be like, Joseph is very campy. It's just a campy show. So don't come expecting like a really serious biblical approach to this story, because
Presley's in it. So
it's very tongue-in-cheek and it's very campy in a fun way. I don't think it's disrespectful to the story at all. But so I knew she would understand when I told her I want camp and glitz and color and saturated colors. And we were lucky enough to be able to go down to Midland Center for the Arts, where Sally had performed and been a part of things for many years. And they allowed us to kind of raid their costume rooms, which was fantastic. So that has helped significantly with costuming. But she matched all the brothers with their wives. So that's something you can kind of look for, is like, where are the couples and who are they matched with? And she's done an amazing job. I have to say, my granddaughter, who's 3, I got her watching Joseph when I was visiting because I wanted her to kind of understand what we were working on. And she called me one day and she was like, Grandma, Joseph's not going to be naked, is he?
Naked.
Because in the Donny Osmond movie, he's not. He's pretty exposed, and I said, no, don't worry. Our Joseph is also concerned about being naked, so we are not going to have a naked. Joseph.
To be fair, I'm not Donny Osmond shaped. Like that was the primary.
You got the hair. Like you're there.
That's it.
It's huge. She has been such a help for me in this, and she's done a stunning job. So visually, this will be very fun for people to see on stage because Sally just nailed it.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell us about choreography and things like that? Who's helping with that?
Sure. Well, this is fun because Ashley Alto is our choreographer.
Young, talented.
And she choreographed Hello Dolly as well last year. But Ashley, I cannot speak highly enough of this young woman. I don't know very many young women her age who manage all the things that she's managing at one time quite so well. Because she's dancing the lead in Cinderella and in the high school production and choreographing Joseph all at the same time. So we're very blessed to have her in this community, and she's graduating and going off to school, so we'll have to...
And balancing all that among the pressures of being a high school senior and having graduation staring you in the face.
Right.
That's a lot.
She's pretty amazing. And we all know when Ashley is not happy with how we're doing.
Her disappointed mom face is on. When we mess up dance steps,
I think she thinks she's hiding it, but you can tell that she's sort of like, what are you people?
Such an expression destructive.
Ashley's going to be a great mom someday because her kids are going to misbehave, and she'll just look at them, and they'll just know what they did wrong.
I like it. That's good.
But she's incredible. We had a rehearsal where Katie got, our music director was held up, and so we had to kind of figure out what we were going to do on the fly because I don't run music rehearsals myself because I just don't have that skill set. So I looked at Ashley and I'm like, well, you want to choreograph a few things on the fly that need a little help? And she was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. And she did.
Wow.
So, yeah, she's been a tremendous – and she is someone who's been a part of Footlighters for many years, from a young child all the way up through, and is a real testament to – taking someone with that kind of skill set and encouraging them to grow, but not just in Footlighters, in the Landing Dance and in the school productions. But boy, she's been quite an asset to Footlighters in the last few years. We've been really thrilled to have her.
Yeah,
Some of the lifts. Go ahead.
Yeah, she makes it look so easy too. Like whenever it's like, all right, here's your dance move we're learning. I'm like, oh yeah, I could do this. Like she did it so easily, and then I'm there, I'm choreoing it. I'm like, what is going on? It takes me a while.
I actually asked her to also be in it because I think for Hello Dolly she choreographed it and she was in one little section. But I was like, no, I want you to shine a little bit in this show. So she's principal dancer in a couple scenes, which is really fun too.
Some of the lifts and flips and things are really impressive, and I'm super excited to show those off for people.
So can you set us up with date, time, how folks get tickets?
Yes. We open on Friday, April 4, and we play that weekend, Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m., and the following weekend, the 11th and 12th at 7 p.m., and then on the 12th there is also a matinee at 2 p.m. Tickets are available now at CadillacFootlighters.com, or you can buy them at Horizon Books or Brink's Custom Framing. And the performances, just to know, are in McBain, in the McBain Auditorium. So a little bit of a drive, definitely worth it, though, because it's a gorgeous, gorgeous auditorium.
I've been told that McBain has more space on the stage. Is that true? It's a little bit larger than Cadillac?
It's a little bit deeper, I think, than Cadillac's, and there's a little bit more wing space. There's on the stage left side at Cadillac, there's not a ton of wing space on the side there. In McBain, there's a little bit more room in the wing space.
The men get an actual dressing room.
Well, it's a hallway, but yes.
Well, it's tiered seating for the audience.
Yes,
so
and
nice.
there's not a bad seat in the auditorium.
No, it's a beautiful facility.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And we do get also the privilege of the technicians at the McBain Auditorium who are very, very good at what they do. So
Dylan Rodenbaugh, we're looking at you.
Yeah, Jacob Maley, yep. Really great guys. So.
Yep.
To our actors, I have a question for you. What have you learned about yourself in this role? So let's start with Sophie.
I have learned that it's okay to have a lot of fun with the role. I think a lot of times I can be really hard on myself when I'm taking on a new character, that I have to, really portray what this character is designed to do. I didn't write this character, but I have to bring this character to life. And that's one of the things that's been really fun about this show is just because of the really great cast dynamics, we can have so much fun and bounce off of each other. And at one point, we are in our separate bromebas and then come together in one clump, and it just happens so naturally and so beautiful chaos is how I would describe the bromeba. And that's just been so much fun for me. That's one of the things that I've learned in this role is it's okay to have a lot of fun with it.
When did rehearsal start, by the way? How long ago? Because it seems to me like the rehearsal and the time to get it all together is so long compared to the fact that this rolls out over a period of 5 shows and then you're done, right?
So we started mid-January.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really not as long for rehearsals as people may think.
Okay.
We put in a lot of work. We rehearse 3 times a week over the course of the show. So it's a lot of work that we're putting in to pull something off amazing for everybody to see.
Right.
Going back to Katie's question, Evan, swing that around and talk to us.
Well, I guess something I've learned, especially with this show specifically, is that theater is one of the best ways to develop as a person, not just as a character. Like, I have always enjoyed playing roles that make me feel like myself. Like, I'm a dorky guy, so I like playing dorky characters. Like Ambrose from Hello Dolly. And second example that I'm blanking on, Wayne from Puffs. But for this show, it starts off kind of fitting that, but then I have to, as was said earlier, go into like this completely different power dynamic. Like I end up as the Prince of Egypt, which is not a character trait that I'm familiar with in my day-to-day. So I just getting acting coaching on that and learning how to be more confident as a character, I've found has helped me realize more confidence as a person, like out in the world. Like I feel like I can stand my ground a little bit more in certain situations where I probably would have just curled up and stayed a dorky little guy usually. So I'm just, the best part to me is like learning who you are as much as the character is.
Okay.
Tyler?
Yeah, so I mean, with it being my first Footlighter show, it's been fun seeing how I could use just my energy and play it out in such a fun way. Like I play that energy out every day in my 4th grade classroom, but getting to do it in such a different light, it's been so much fun. So I've learned how much I've enjoyed my experience, something that might bounce off to some more I do in the future, which will be fun. And then one is like, I got to give a shout out to my wife because we have 3 young kids at home, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-month-old.
Lots of sacrifices.
She has been super amazing there's 2 nights a week where she has to do bedtime all on her own. So she's been a rock star there and been a great mother. So
as a 4th grade teacher, do you find yourself sometimes playing characters in front of your class?
I mean, yeah. I would say when they're like, okay, you're going to have to do a little bit improv during your audition, I'm like, that's like, I improv every day in front of my students.
Right.
So I'm like, that's no big deal. The singing in front, I don't really sing too much in front of my students. So
you get that started, you know?
I could get that started. I usually play music in front of them, but I don't really do much of the singing. Sometimes I'll like play something in front of them and go, oh yeah, that's me, by the way, and it's totally not me, but I just let them think it's me. But yeah, I've seen that. Like, I think a lot of what you do on the stage, I mean, plays out definitely what I do in the classroom setting, except my focus is more on, okay, how can I educate them instead of just entertainment?
Sure. Yeah, I can see the segue. Absolutely. I want to hear from our 3 actors, and we're going to go back to Julie and talk about times and dates and tickets and all these things. To someone in the audience who's listening, how will they feel when they leave the production?
Exhilarated.
Bamboozled. Mayhaps.
Joy. Multicolored. There we go.
Yeah. You will feel Technicolor.
When I told the cast or some of the cast who I was bringing to this interview, I think the comment Jay made was, that's a lot of positivity in one room. These 3 are a hoot on stage. They're hilarious. Energy, just positive energy and vibes. And I feel like that's what people will get from seeing this show, too, is that energy and that positive vibe. And because it's fun show. It's great, fun music. Mm-hmm. One of the little girls in the youth choir said it was a bop. All these songs are a bop.
Yeah.
That's
a popular. Yeah. That is a popular word.
Okay, sure. What does this mean? What is that?
That is a pop. It's a good thing.
Oh, it's a good
thing.
It gets you dancing.
It's like the opposite of skibbity.
Shut up! I'm 19 and I don't get a single word anyone says anymore.
I was waiting for Skibbity to find its way into the show today.
Oh God, please no!
Yeah, she's got it. She's got it. Tell us one more time, Julie. How much are tickets? Where can people get them? And then dates and time, location of the show.
Okay. So tickets are available at CadillacFootlighters.com or at Brinks Custom Framing or at Horizon Books. I believe they're $12 if you buy them ahead of the show. If you buy them online, I think they're $13. And if you wait till at the door, they're $15. And the shows open on April 4, and they run April 4 and 5 and 11 and 12 at 7 p.m. and then a 2 p.m. matinee on the 12th as well.
And I'm going to tell you, that drive to McBain, 15, 20 minutes, it's worth it. It's a beautiful place to see a show.
Right. And a musical of this caliber, if you went to see it in a metropolitan area, I mean, it wouldn't be $15. I can tell you that. This is very affordable entertainment, and I would just really encourage everybody to come out, support the Footlighters, but also support your spirit, because it's an incredible production.
Yeah. And I didn't mention Katie Maynard, but she's our music director, and she has put in hours and hours, because if you don't know the show, it's all music.
Mm-hmm.
So
ovation for that one.
A lot of it has fallen on Katie's shoulders, and she's done an amazing job. So come see it just to say, yay, Katie.
Yeah. Well, and just a shout out to your entire team. I mean, the amount of talent that you've pulled in here, but also the leadership and the time and the commitment and the collaboration with you. Are we all on the same page before we present and coach to our actors? It's a wonderful gift to the community. So thank you, Julie.
It's fun.
Director Julie Van Heitzma, cast members Tyler Drosky, Evan Johnson, and Sophie Weibel with us today. So thank you very much for all of you.
Can't wait to see you guys in action. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join us next week for more local chat. Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank on 107.9 CDY.